The Ride of the Rohirrim. It's one of the scenes from The Lord of the Rings that have cemented itself as a core memory in my young brain. It created a want, this itch to experience charging into battle with all of your comrades, and I never thought that I would be able to scratch that itch. But fast forward a couple years down the line, and I'm mindlessly scrolling through YouTube and find this game called Mount & Blade Warband. It's a medieval warfare game? Okay, the graphics look alright. Oh, cool, you can grow an army. I wonder what the battles are like.
I will drink from your skull!
I was blown away by it. This game is what scratches the itch of that core memory. I became obsessed with this game, and not just me. It was one of the first games that me and my big brother loved to play together. I would watch him play and do better things than me, and I would learn strategy from him and apply that on my own saves. We spent a lot of time on this game, even more so than what my Steam hours say, and that's all thanks to the extensive modding community that this game had. Instead of the game's medieval European vibes, why not be transported to the Sengoku period of Japan with the incredible Gekkokujo mod? Not impressed with that? How about leaving Earth altogether and exploring the Star Wars galaxy with the Star Wars Conquest mod? And those are just the two big hitters that I can think of off the top of my brain. There's so many more mods out there that me and my big brother tried out and enjoyed. We enjoyed this game and still do to this day, but Warband isn't the game that I wanted to talk about in this video. Today, I wanted to talk about its sequel and how much I love it thanks to my history of the first one. So today, listen to me gush about one of my favorite games of all time, Mount & Blade Bannerlord. One of my favorite things about this game are its battles. Seeing armies clash either by a cavalry charge or an intense infantry lock is always fun to see in this game. Games like Total War kinda emulate this feeling, but with Bannerlord, you're right in the thick of it. With this, you're extremely immersed in the battle, whether it's against a bunch of deserters or another lord that your kingdom is at war with. Every battle in this game is fun and intense. You're also allowed to command your soldiers into specific tactics, whether that's creating a shield wall while your archers pelt your approaching enemies, or circling your enemies as your horse archers rain arrows upon them, or my personal favorite tactic in the game, F1, F3, also known as
Charge!
With this level of control with your armies, it gives you this level of satisfaction when you see the kill board be filled with green. It also gives you the satisfaction if you do the tactics correctly against an overwhelming force or just crushing another lord or lady's army that's been a thorn in your side. But that's just the open battles. With a game that's all about medieval warfare, of course you're going to end up besieging castles and cities. And let me tell you, they get pretty brutal. Marching up to castles is harrowing. Arrows are raining down above your heads as you see boulders and bombs be thrown from catapults into your line of soldiers, but this is just where the bloodshed begins. Once you reach the walls, you can raise ladders or climb a siege tower in order to breach through their defenses, and this begins a bloody battle of attrition. With how I play the game, I end up charging forward, being the first on the ladder and using my axe in order to carve my way through the enemies. However, it's not just these two battles that can be found in Bannerlord. With its new expansion War Sails, they've also added naval combat into the game. Though I haven't played much of it, from what I've experienced, it's pretty fun. Having a number of ships in order to accommodate the size of your army means that in the middle to late game, you can have a ton of ships in your battle. You can also command your own ship and micromanage the other ones in your armada in order to tactically win your battles, but personally, I only really do one tactic, and that's really, say it with me now, F1, F3. Being able to ram ships with your own is an incredibly satisfying thing to do in battles, especially if you're able to do so towards the enemy's main ship. Not just that too, but boarding enemy ships are easy and it's very fun to fight on the nets. When you slash at an enemy and hear their body splash into the ocean, it's just so satisfying to hear, and even just unloading arrows into the opposing force's boats to help your army break through is just, it's so much fun to do. With how satisfying it is to go through all of these battles and just have this gameplay loop, it's one of the main reasons why I keep going back to this game and why I keep playing it. But that's not the only reason. There's also just how freeform it is to create a story in this world. With how the game is, there is a story mode to it, but honestly, after the opening parts, you're kinda left alone on your own devices to figure out your place. So what is the story? Essentially, you're a nobody in this world, but after your brother and sister were taken by bandits and slavers, you begin to gather a small group of soldiers to bring them back. Before you do so, however, you find a small piece of an ancient banner called the Dragon Banner, which is said to have been used to unify all of Karadia in the past. After establishing your clan even more, and even saving your siblings, you begin a journey to search for the missing pieces of the Dragon Banner. And that's about the gist of it. It does sound really important, but trust me, that's not the bread and butter of Mount & Blade. I appreciate them adding a sort of story in this game to give us some agency and reason to do what we do, but I believe that the best part of Mount & Blade is having the freedom to choose what you want to do. The world of Calradia is filled with different cultures, different lords and ladies, and different wanderers that you can add to your clan. Kingdoms can rise and fall, rebellions can break out, those lords and ladies that I mentioned can also die in battle, and their children can pick up the mantle of their parents as they age. What I'm trying to say here is that every playthrough of this game will be different, which means the story of your character can be radically different from one another. Sure, the end goal is about the same. You're trying to unify Calradia under one banner, and honestly that's it. But how you get there is what makes this game amazing. One playthrough you can be this ruthless warlord, executing those who oppose you and ruling with complete fear, while on another playthrough you can be the world's richest merchant and trader, buying cities and settlements with the use of your wealth. And that's what makes Bannerlord so good for me. It's the variety of choices on how I can play the game that makes it endlessly replayable for me. And with the game getting updated again finally, it makes me hopeful that the game can grow more and have more things to do in it. Speaking of having more to do, let's talk about the mods that this game has. Just like Warband, there's a plethora of mods that add new things to the base game, like having improved diplomacy, new armors and weapons, and of course adding fun things like a flaming sword or even the ability to dismember enemies. Those are all fun and add a new layer to the base game, but for this section, there is one big mod that I wanted to talk about that makes the game feel like a new one. That mod being Shokuho. This mod is amazing. Just like Warband's Gekkokujo, this mod is also set in Japan's Sengoku period. In this mod, the creators set out to recreate Japan in the feudal age, and it is exceptional, having its own troop trees, new systems, and a lot of new things unique to it to make it feel like a new game. And that's just one of the many mods you can find right now that's currently in development for this game. I know there's one that's set in the Lord of the Rings universe, and another one that's set in the Warhammer universe, and honestly for that mod, from what I've seen, it introduces a magic system into the game. The possibilities are endless when it comes to the modding capabilities of this game, especially now with the new modding tools that were released with the new War Sales expansion. I know it's gonna take a long time before another big overhaul mod comes in, but know that when it does, I'll be there to try it out and lose a couple hundred hours playing a new story. As a storyteller, this game is amazing. The amount of impromptu story beats happening, whether they make sense or not, is what pulls me back into this game over and over again. Just recently, in one of my saves, I fought in a 1,000 versus 1,000 army battle, and it became a turning point in the current war that I was in. With that context though, it made me immersed in the battle, and made me actually use tactics rather than just charging in aimlessly to win. When a game, especially a sandbox game, makes me care about the outcome of a battle like that, then it's a special one to my heart. And that's why I love this game, and will continue to love this game despite its developers wanting to ghost it for a number of years. Yes, I know they've been updating a lot more after War Sales launch, and honestly I'm going to continue to be hopeful that these updates become more frequent in like a couple of months rather than just nothing. And that's about it really. I really just wanted to make a video about this game after I sunk a number of hours to a new save after the expansion's launch, and well, this channel is all about the games that I love, so why not, right? I will say that if after this video you end up becoming interested in playing this game, please go ahead when you can. It's a great experience, and like I said, with mods, it becomes a time sink that you'll always have fun in. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, but I gotta get back to my save, because you know what? It's harvesting season. See you guys.